Right on, right on, right on. Well,
Yeah.
I got you, man. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the third topic of the day. And I know we talked about this on Friday, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt to talk about it again, especially with one take. But Mr. Kevin Feige over at the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I apologize.
Considered one of the best producers in cinematic history, admitted that he made a mistake, with the casting of the Ancient One in the MCU. And to be honest with you guys, I'm glad that he came out and said something because something needed to be said. But anyway, I have the report right here. From Deadline, it says Doctor Strange casting of Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One was a mistake, says Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. And if you just scroll down a bit, the controversial casting of Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One in 2016 as Doctor Strange was a mistake, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has admitted. Speaking to Men's Health for a cover story on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, star Simu Lee Feige said the uproar over casting Swinton as the Tibetan magic arts guru was a wake-up call. And so let me go ahead and just bring this down real quick. I'm going to tell you exactly what he said. We thought we were being so smart, so cutting edge, Feige said. We're not going to do the cliche of the wizard, old wise Asian man. But it was a wake-up call to say, well, wait a minute. Is there any other way to figure it out? Is there any other way to both not fall into the cliche and cast an Asian actor? And the answer to that, of course, is yes. Lamont, let the people know how you feel about this, sir. How you feeling?
First of all, one take, anytime you want to come on a Friday to join our show, feel free, because we do a whole lot of beating up people. And Kevin Feige, even though I'm going to say I respect him for at least admitting he was wrong. Right now, we're in a society where certain groups of people feel as though saying that you are wrong or admitting that you made a mistake is weakness, and it's not. The question we have with Disney is, and Marvel, sometimes they go too hard to be woke and they trip over their own damn feet. And then sometimes you question who is in the room helping to advise you on issues dealing with your minorities. Because from Jump Street, somebody should have been sitting beside Feige who has enough power to say, that's a bad idea. That's just, Kevin. I respect you, you my man, but that's just a bad damn idea. And I like the actress. I like this actress, don't get me wrong. But there's people in the community who was upset about it. And when it got cross seas, I've heard some people complaining that why you just couldn't get someone of the ilk to play the role. Now, I want you guys to think about the history of this country. There was a time when white people would put on black makeup to be black people. Think about that. And we're still trying to turn the corner from some of that bull jive. And we respect and we revere Kevin Feige. He's made great moves in trying to show inclusiveness. But sometimes, I don't know, like I said, sometimes it's like they sitting at the table too long, somebody tie up everybody's shoes, you stand up and you fall. This was the moment they failed, but at least the man was organized enough to say he made a mistake, and going forward, maybe us minorities are going to be in the room, and when we speak, they'll listen.
Right on. Before I move on to Larry, let me grab this real quick from Ocean's Truth and Wisdom coming with the money today. I really do appreciate it. Let's do this one. Thank you so much for the $4.99. Can I possibly be the only one that's sick and tired of both Batman and Spider-Man? Now that they have access to all the characters, start repeating them. I'm on the fence with that comment. I am. But thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it, Ocean's Truth and Wisdom. And Larry, before I come to you, let me go ahead and read this second quote real quick. This from Marvel. Marvel has a very strong record of diversity in its casting of films and regularly, I can't see that because of my logo, from stereotypes and source material to bring its MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe to life. A statement issued at the time said, the Ancient One is a title that is not exclusively held by any one character, but rather a moniker passed down through time and is the particular film that embodiment is Celtic. The statement added, we are very proud to have an enormously talented Tilda Swinton portray the unique and complex character alongside our richly diverse cast. Swinton herself said that the casting her in the role was an attempt to avoid offensive racial stereotyping, avoiding this kind of Fu Manchu ancient man sitting on the top of the mountain called the Ancient One. They made this decision to try not to perpetuate those racial stereotypes. So, of course, these statements was made at the time of the casting back in 2015 and 16. But going back to you, Larry, how you feeling about all this, man? How you feeling?
I mean, it seems sort of ridiculous and I mean, extraordinarily tone deaf. But this is, I mean, it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, this is how you, I mean, it's good that they recognize they did something, wrong, and he's apologizing for it. But it's one of those things. It's like it is so completely ridiculous that it should have occurred to him in the moment. Mm-hmm. And if it didn't occur to him in the moment, somebody at some point should have stopped him and said, "Hey, wait a minute, man. I know you're the boss. I don't want to get fired, but you can't do this. This is just a dumb asinine move, man." And don't get me wrong, the woman that played the role did an excellent job. She did. She's a fine actor, and phenomenal. So anytime you take a fine actor and you put him in a role, they're gonna do a great job because that's what they do, But it doesn't mean that they should be in that role just because they can play it well. You can find another actor that can play it well. And this whole idea of, well, we were trying to avoid the stereotype of the old ancient, Asian dude and Fu Manchu characterization. They said they were trying to avoid that. All that could have been avoided with simply just a little bit of change in the way they wrote that character. They could have had the dude be a young Asian woman who wears a hoodie, and rocks Timbs, and they're all surprised, like, what the hell? And they're looking at her like, what the hell? Because they're surprised. They're like, you don't look like what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be some old wise Asian dude. She was like, no, but they could have even written it and made a joke and like, don't try to stereotype me, And don't try to box me in.
And to make it worse, they tried to make the background Celtic descent. Who hates African Americans and Asians more than Irish folks? Come on, y'all. Come on, man.
Right.
What the hell?
They could have done that so much better. And I mean, even if they decided they were trying to get away from the typical Fu Manchu character, they could have at least made it an Asian woman,
One take.
I just want to say this, first of all, to Hollywood. I want to say this to anybody in Hollywood. If you are trying to become politically correct, what you do not do is take an ethnic character and make them white. Period. Exactly. Just whenever you get ready to do that, just stop right there and know that you have done something wrong already and don't go forward with it anymore.
Right on. That is a good rule to stand by. One take, how you feeling, man?
I guess I gotta just kind of like agree with the panel, but it's more or less because it's one of those things where you're not knowledgeable of the character. So I actually gotta commend them from coming out and like admit their mistake, because if we're being honest, for a lot of people who don't know the history of the character or how that character originally is in the comics, it probably could have just like skated by. But the fact that they acknowledged and like, we messed up and we know we did. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of got to give them respect them for that in general. But obviously, when you do stuff like this, and it's so many films that it's happened in, it's just like I also feel like we're crossing a time where like we're gonna see less of this. I don't think it's completely done, in all honesty, because there are some people, some actresses or actors who are going to take that check regardless of what, and there are some producers who don't care. But I do think we were like crossing the time where like more people will like recognize these things as that happen. And so, and like I said, we get more people in those rooms who will just be like, dude, nah, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I respect them for like coming out and admitting that they were wrong.
Yeah, that's my sentiments. That's exactly what I said on Friday as well. I was just like, at least the dude came out and admitted that he made a mistake, because I just can't remember off the top of my head how many times producers, directors, writers, executives just come out like, we made a mistake, and he didn't have to do this. No. They're the most successful in Hollywood right now. So that is good. You know, right there, it lets you know that, you know, these are not perfect people; they're human beings. This is a job, and you know, they make mistakes just like everybody else. So, you know, I'm not tripping on that. So,
could you imagine if they did that to a black woman? So,
yeah.
could you let's just say this. Let's say that they were going to go ahead and in the next Black Panther, they're going to bring in Storm, and they were like, "Well, we didn't want to do the whole typical angry black woman whose eyes light up and she gets angry and starts blasting lightning at people. So we went ahead and made her a white redhead, you know, from Scotland."
Yeah,
and we gave her a Scottish backstory. People would be like, "This mother," you know.
Yeah, I don't think that'll get far at
No,
all.
that's not.
Yeah,
Kevin Feige wouldn't even let that go. But while you're speaking about Black Panther, Larry, B. Avery, I'm gonna ask all you guys: does this give you guys any hope that maybe Kevin Feige is listening and will recast a new T'Challa in the future, or does this make you fearful? So, does this make you fearful about recasting the T'Challa?
A little bit of both.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's the fact that he's coming out and admitting this knows it shows, I guess, what one of y'all said earlier, that he may be a little tone deaf. You know, which is surprising. So he's like,
it also says that he's willing to backtrack.
Right. Church, yeah, there you go. So
but I think that's actually like a good thing, though.
Yeah, I was about to say that would be a good thing, right?
Yeah. A little bit of both. So, you know, there we go right there.